Hi, my name is Sean Cox, and I'm a PGA professional. I've got two different clubs here. I've got an iron and I've got a wood. I want to talk about the difference between hitting an iron and a wood. When we are hitting an iron, what's important is that we strike the ball first. And when we strike the ball first, when the ball's sitting on the ground, it's going to need a slightly descending blow in order to get contact with the ball consistently without hitting the ground behind. You're not going to be able to hit balls where you're trying to scoop the ball up in the air. It changes the loft on the face. It makes the ball react differently every time it comes off the face. There's no distance control to trying to hit that. And we're also finding there's not much face control to what direction we're going to hit the ball when people scoop the ball. So we need to make sure that when we hit an iron, we have a forward-leaning shaft as we're coming down into the ball, and we're hitting down and through the ball. Now, that doesn't mean we just chop down on the ball. There's a swing plane that we need to be on, but we need to make sure that we're hitting down on it. Sound is very important. You should be hearing contact with the ball and then a divot after the ball. Even on the PGA Tour, you're going to see some differences in how big the divots are, but one thing you're not going to see. You're not going to see PGA Tour players scooping the ball or hitting the ground before the ball, at least not on purpose and not very often. The second club, the driver, is completely different. We now have a tee. So now imagine this ball is sitting up in the air. If we hit down on a driver, what's going to happen is we're going to produce more backspin. And with more backspin, you're going to get less distance. Your ball's not going to have any roll. Your ball's not going to carry as far. The difference between hitting down, let's say you have 100 miles an hour of club head speed, of hitting down 2 degrees versus hitting up 2 degrees, would be about 20 yards in carry on every drive, hitting it both times in the center of the club face. Everybody could use 20 more yards. So we need to hit up on the driver. Now, one of the things that I've found that can help people kind of get the difference between the two is to use sound. When I take practice swings with my irons, I want to make sure that I'm hearing the whoosh sound a little bit later. Swing the club up in the air and try to make that noise as late as possible. That's going to help you hit ball first, divot afterwards. When you get to the driver, I really don't want you to try to delay the swoosh noise. The reason for that is you're probably going to be hitting down on the ball. What I want you to do with the driver is the opposite. I want to hear you release the club, and I want to hear the whoosh sound back here. When you make the whoosh sound back here, there's a very good chance that by the time you get to the ball, you're going to be hitting slightly up on the ball. Now, there is some talk about aiming a little left for the irons and a little right for the driver. There's a lot of details to that, but what I want you to understand is the main premise. Irons are meant to hit down, drivers are meant to hit up.